Jam on toast!
Hey there, welcome to Jam. I'm Cameron, and today the toast is to Hansel and Gretel Witchhunters. This is a review for week 44 of hashtag We Are Movie Club. This week's pick is Charlie. So the short version of this is that two kids get abandoned in the woods, end up killing their first witch really young, and then make a career out of it. Let's go. This story and their adventure is about saving this one town's children from a witch. My love for this one is the troll fight. That was pretty nasty. My hate for this one is, what time period is this? They're using weapons that would exist in like the 1940s almost. There's like a German Ruger in there that at the very best, earliest would have existed in like World War I. I don't understand how they have guns and then they're still rocking these crazy crossbow things. But there's no real industry, there's no electricity, it doesn't make a lot of sense. They're obviously not using magic to supplement, which is a common thing in fantasy, but obviously magic is for witches, and witches are evil because everyone wants to burn them alive or whatever. The MVP for this movie was the White Witch. Laid down her life for it as a character. She's a pretty good actress, she was cute, not saying that really gets you much points. But with this movie, it got her enough points to help keep my attention towards her versus the other characters. Because let's face it, neither of the leads really carried this movie very far. Let's discuss that in the categories.
Aesthetics.
I think I've kind of made my point that the aesthetics kind of irritate me. Not saying that they're necessarily bad. There's some very clever stuff, like the fold-out rifle I thought was pretty interesting, though that mini grape shot round that he fired, not quite sure about that one. And the Gatling gun. There's a lot of stuff I could just complain about. The stuff with the witch's face, particularly Famke Janssen's character, shifting back and forth was pretty interesting. Otherwise, the rot doesn't make a lot of sense because they start to rot, but then they get super strength and speed, and then of course they have wands, and they can grab any stick and make a flying broom out of it. So I don't know if there's research that I needed or what, but a lot of stuff doesn't make sense just right off the bat. And again, the time period and the technology just don't make sense, because while she looks great in those pleather pants, I don't understand why they're there. I think I just don't agree with a lot of the direction on this, which is fine because I think I'm not alone. Aesthetics gets a 70.
Character development.
There's a little bit of it. It's just, if you think back on the movie, it's not what you remember. We definitely get some story about the kids when they're younger. We see their first encounter. We pick up information as the story goes on. There is an investigation going into things about the witches. We learn things about the witches in general and what blood moon is and why everything's happening, but it's really blurs the line between character development and storyline, because I'm trying to focus on the characters and they just don't develop very well. We learn new things, but it doesn't change who they are, and it doesn't make them better, it doesn't make them more interesting. There's a lot of snorry stuff in between all the punches and kicks and weird technology being used. I'm just saying. Character development gets a 75.
Storyline.
So the story starts with like the traditional Hansel and Gretel. When they're in there, they throw the witch in the thing, and then they start the career of witch hunting. Yay! I feel like we're missing a couple stories in between, and they could have been built up a little bit better as adults. But the story is not so much any one singular line, it's all the offshooting, because they have to contest for the town, they're dealing with the mayor, they're fighting with the sheriff, they're fighting with this one witch, they're saving this other witch that they don't know is a witch, they find out, and then they're fighting the coven who has a troll, and then the troll's with them, and then there's a lot of complicated, convoluted storyline. But if you look at it, it's like, I'll just drop my fingers, it's like there's a singular path of story that's not very thick with quality and not very long in depth, but there's lots of like curls as you go, which all add up back into the track, and ultimately you get the heroes vanquish the monsters without a lot of substance in between, because it's mostly an action movie, and action movies don't typically do that. Storyline gets a 75.
Compulsion.
Here's a little background. Charlie thought I was going to hate this movie and be like, oh no, why are we watching this? It's a fun movie to watch, but you start picking at it and you can unravel it entirely. It's not a movie I would throw on. It's watchable. I don't mind watching it every now and again. I don't mind doing it for a movie club. I don't mind talking about the movie because it has some interesting points. And it's more than just this girl getting punched in the face over and over again, which is the very first review I ever heard about it. I like it. It's just not the best movie by far. It's just how it is. You can't all be the best. Compulsion gets a 60. Now, if you total all that up, you get an average of 70. For my red review, I gotta say, if you want some fun action stuff in a fantasy setting, check this out. If nothing else, you'll get to yell at the screen and hate the movie just a little bit, but you'll have a decent time in the making. You'll have that experience in the bank. It's not gonna kill you and waste your time to watch this. It may not be the best movie you ever saw, but hey, it's worth that one watch. But once again, this was the review for hashtag We Are Movie Club. This week's pick was Charlie. My pick is next week, and it is Red vs. Blue Season 10. We will be ending our run of Red vs. Blue and be getting back to real movies. Finally. I'm actually looking forward to it. I've got the first one picked out, and I think it'll be a nice shift in that direction. I just need to try to make sure that they're accessible. Yay! But if you want to do a movie review with us, just do a movie review, include the hashtag We Are Movie Club. That makes you part of our community. And be sure to go ahead and yell at us at We Are Movie Club on Twitter. Just let us know you want to get involved, and maybe we can make that happen. Till then, have a wonderful day. I am Cameron.
If you want to see anything else we're up to, go ahead and click the annotations, and they'll take you to our other channels.